Welcome back to the Native Structure. This is episode 10 with Ashok Giri. Ashok is one of the best calligrapher the country has to offer out of a handful calligrapher that we have still working and engaging regularly. And he has been engaged in, in the international penmanship community as well. And he is also the co-founder of Joy and Ash Calligraphy. Welcome to the show, Ashok.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's such a nice thing to see you again and talk to you. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast.
When was that? When was the last time we sat together? That was when
I think Amarjit was here.
Amarjit was here, Singapore.
Yeah. It was 2 years back, I guess, because it was. I think we had a connecting flight, something, or had some layover for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then we all decided that we should meet in Delhi. So
yeah. And do you realize that during those time how difficult it was to procure materials, calligraphy materials in India, as compared to today? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ask me about the material bit, and I had nightmares like, oh my God, what am I looking? But today I think it's much more nicer, and I feel really happy for all those calligraphers who are starting and who wanted to really pursue this hobby. Because if you don't have, you and me know the pain that we go through, and how bad we feel about when you don't have good stuff.
Yeah. And you always think that maybe it's the equipment that I have which is not at par, that's why I wasn't able to write it that way. In a way it was true, because like for example the nib or the ink, if it was not right, then you just couldn't write, right? Yeah.
I think yes. I think you're right on that matter of on that aspect, because I started with I don't know which folder or which pen or which ink, and actually I gave up calligraphy for almost 4 months after I started in the beginning, because I thought I will not be able to do this ever. So it actually put me off a little bit, but I couldn't understand why. I thought I would do it and all that. But then, this plays a very important role right now in terms of what tools are you using, and having the right tools. I'm not saying you need the best ones. There's nothing called as best, but at least you need the right tools for you to start.
Yeah, because I remember when I started. I used to use a normal fountain ink, and every time I try to write, it blobs. It gives a big blobs on the paper, and I thought that maybe I wasn't good enough, or But the moment I used Sumi ink, then I realized that it wasn't my fault. It was the ink fault.
Fault. I know. I think I started off with the Pilot ink, the fountain pen. Pilot pen, and I used to use graph papers. The graph papers that we used to use in schools. And I remember going out in a stationery shop which was close to my house, and buying some bunch of papers. I don't know which papers. I just told him, give me 10 of this, 10 of that, and 10 of that. I said, assorted bunch of papers, not knowing what is going to work. And the piece of writing that came up was horrendous. Like, it blotted all the way. The paper tore, and oh my God, it was disaster. And like, what am I doing? Is this supposed to be like this? So
it was a trial and error experiment for me as well when I started, and I experiment. Actually, I found it by mistake for me as well, and. It was interesting because when we started, Pilot Parallel Pen wasn't available in India yet, but now that it is available, it was. For the generation now, it's just so easy, because Nico G nibs and all the other nibs are now available easily at a very cheaper price. But we used to spend double the price or triple the price just to have that one nib. I still remember you gifted me one of the nib.
Oh, really? I did. I don't remember. my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think during Amar's time, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
Oh,
exchanged some.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right because yeah, as rightly said, pilot parallel pens was kind of a technologically
Hmm.
advanced something for me when I saw it because during my days I used to cut the nib to an
Yeah.
angle, brush it on sandpaper to make it smooth,
Hmm.
and then write it. So it was a fluke.
Yeah.
Of course, it used to write, but then most of the time it should tear the paper.
Yeah. So, how did you get
I'm
into the calligraphy stuff? Just to track back, when did
uh,
you start it, and how did you finally grasp hold of it?
I think it was quite a fluke, I would say. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
had not in my wildest of dreams had planned for this. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you will be surprised that my last year pass out from an art college. So I'm an art
Mm.
college pass out. Okay, my
Okay.
specialization was calligraphy and typography. So 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 I did my last set of calligraphy and typography in the year 2000.
Mm.
uh, that is when I passed out. And after that, I didn't do anything. I never touched a pen. I never got in touch with calligraphy. Calligraphy as a word was healing to me for the past 16 years after that because
Mm-hmm.
I started again. I picked up my pilot parallel pen in year 2016,
Mm-hmm.
exactly in May 2016, I would say. And
Mm.
nothing before that, not even pencil to do calligraphy.
Okay.
So so one of uh, my good friend who was my ex boss, he was my boss then.
Mm.
Um, he actually ordered some pilot parallel pens from Amazon, and then I was like, "What are these colorful pens? Have some nice colorful." He's like, You're from art background. You should know about this." I said, "No, I don't know." Because I am not in touch with art or my college or anything for the past so many years. So, what I do is think of ideas and execute that on my computer.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything with my pen and paper. Sorry about that. I know it. So literally, I
Yeah.
had no motor skills then, and I like, oh, okay, try it out, and it was Pirate Parrot pens. It was like, wow, these are so smooth. We used to cut nibs and all
Mm.
that
Yeah.
story I told you about. Like this is then how I got into calligraphy, and he
Mm-hmm.
was the one who actually kind of I would give credit to him because if he wouldn't have bought those pens in my office that time, I
Mm.
wouldn't have actually got into this.
No. And were you during the childhood? Are you very artsy kind of a person, or how would you put yourself?
Uh, I was very interested in drawing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I remember my childhood days in the school days. I was kind of the most wanted guy to do all the charts. If there was a gathering or a special occasion or a greeting card was required, so the teacher used to like, hey, call Ashok from that grade. He is a good,
Mm.
he can draw good. So I was kind of most wanted, and everyone knew in the school that hey, Ashok could do good drawing. Drawing was
Mm.
my thing. I won't
Mm.
say it art because it was all to do with say chemistry projects or biology or whatever.
Mm.
And then I used to do, of course, I used to do my piece of art. But yeah, that is how and what inspired me to get into art college. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, the art in college part was really interesting because as you mentioned, you already finished calligraphy and typography course in 2000. So how was the courses back then? Was it does it satisfy you? And as you are already a very good calligrapher now, so looking at back then, how was the courses structure? You know.
Um, I think to be very frank and not to like pinpoint in a way, but I think
Mm.
this college didn't have any structure that time. There
Yeah.
was no
Yeah.
syllabus. It
Mm.
was see, I had chosen calligraphy and typography um, uh, because I was forced to choose that. Like to be very
Mm-hmm.
frank again, because I had three options. I had illustration as my specialization option.
mm,
I had photography, and then I had calligraphy and typography. Now illustration I was not good at, so I had to
yeah.
put that out of my this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved photography, but that time buying a Nikon camera and a DSLR camera was expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm sure my parents wouldn't have even encouraged that thought. Like I dared ask them about, hey, I want a camera, and I think it was some F10 or something that time. It was a new
Mm-hmm.
Nikon camera. I remember,
Mm-hmm.
it quite sleek. Like it had a golden body with a black lens or something. I remember that camera, or a silver body, and it was around some 10 grands in year 2000. I like, oh my god, this is too expensive. So I like, okay, what is the option? I need to pass out from college and I need to have a specialization. So and that's the reason I took calligraphy and typography. But I hardly remember doing anything much in that. Like, of course, my campaign was all typographical based and blah blah blah. But there was no syllabus. There was no proper method like we have now. Like if anyone wants to learn Gothic or Uncial or Engrosser script or Spencerian or business handwriting, we have a syllabus. There's an organization, of course, Richard Ironpen, and they have a proper syllabus on their website. Who they, in fact, it is so thorough, that you can read the books, you can go through this thing and learn in proper way.
Yeah, exactly. And even for me, IMPath has been one of the source for all my understanding. And then they're very thorough. They provide guidelines, everything. Plus there are a lot of people out there nowadays that who are showcasing and breaking down their works, so it's much easier now to really understand as well. Whereas before it was more, you try to copy by seeing what people posted, right? The end result, by seeing the end result. And then by
Yep.
looking at the end result, you don't get to understand, okay, what is the angle, how many increment has to be made between each line, and all of
Yep.
those details are not available. So it was quite difficult. But now that on the information is out there, there are books, so it's much more easier. And one thing I would bringing in is that you have been to the IMPET conference, right? Last year, or was it last year, right?
Yeah, I was there last year in Denver where it happened.
Yeah, how was the
I'm
experience?
Oh my goodness! I think that was one of the best. It was like I would say I was a kid in a candy store. That is what I would say, Richard. I am not kidding, and I am sure
Yeah.
that you would also feel the same way when you reach there, because the amount of love that you get there from the community, and um, um, the welcome that you have, the abundance of knowledge that people have to share there is crazy. Like I have not seen that anywhere. So my partner was there, Joy was there along with me, because before that, what I had done was we had planned for a workshop in USA,
Mm-hmm.
so in Hawaii. So Joy had arranged for an Engrosser script workshop, which me and Joy had taken in Hawaii. So I think I flew there on 4th of July, um, had a workshop for 2 days, and then um, the same student asked that if I could take a Gothic workshop also, which I was not prepared for. And they said, "Hey Ash, you would never come back again, so it will be a long time, and or maybe a longer time. After a long time, we'll be back again. So why not take a Gothic one, because we love your Gothic work." So I had to like rush up Joy and do that workshop. And from there, I flew, like me and Joy flew to Colorado, Denver,
Yeah.
where this IMPET happened. And oh my goodness, it was amazing. I think 300 plus guests from all over the world,
Yeah.
you know, and 5 days of learning from the master pens.
Yeah.
like right from Jake Willman to Michael Sull to Michael Ward. So he was not a teacher, but he was there, you know,
Yeah.
um, participating. Bill Kemp, Barbara Close, and Susan.
Susan.
Oh
Yeah.
my, yeah. I had the privilege to meet everyone there, talk to them, share my work, and discuss things with them. It was good. Like if Susan is not teaching, she is sitting as a student.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
Mm-hmm.
that. So the like Bill Kemp, I had an opportunity to attend his Engrosser script workshop.
Mm.
And when he was not teaching, he was sitting next to me at Barbara's workshop learning Uncial. So it was such a wonderful uh, atmosphere, like a feeling there.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a positive community, right?
Absolutely.
Our viewer might not understand what is I am Pat or master penman, the term
Oh
master
yeah.
penman, all of the stuff. So would you mind explaining a little bit, talking about a little bit about I am Pat, and then what are master penman and how many of them are there in the world right now? A little bit
Sure.
details, yeah.
So IMPET stands for the International Association of Master Penmen, Engrossers, and Teachers of
Mm.
Handwriting. That's the full form of IMPET. And so, what do you mean by Master Penman? Master Penman is the top rank a person gets, a calligrapher gets, after him what you call qualifying or giving exams. So there are exams actually. They used to be before, but not now. They're still working on it, on a program where you can actually. So they have a exam for you online,
Mm.
which you
Mm.
have to like. So they have a. So how do we say? So when you register for, are you a member of IMPET?
No, not not
The
not anymore. No.
Okay, so I'll tell you how it works. So you need to register for IMPET membership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and if you are a member for 3 years, 3 consecutive years, not have a gap in between, then you are eligible for the certificate of proficiency in any of the script that you want to choose. So
Mm.
either you can choose Engrosser script, or you can choose Spencerian, Foundation Hand, Business Handwriting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can choose any of these, and then they have a syllabus for you that you need to do these exercises, and then you need to courier them this stuff, the originals,
Mm.
not Xerox or anything. They want to see the original because they want to, of course, test, see if they have done it right or not. And these test papers go to the master penman, and they check them for you. And if you get like 90% of 100, then you get the certificate of proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you need to apply for the certificate of excellence. That's the next stage,
Yeah.
where again the task is given and you can do it next year. So you have to be 4 years member in
Mm-hmm.
like consecutive in a consecutive year, and after that you're eligible for certificate of excellence. So once you do that, once you earn the certificate of excellence, then you're eligible for the master penman thing, which right now they're working on the syllabus for that, and it is not still open. So when I read the website, they say that it will soon be out. I'm saying they're working on it, but I'm eventually seeing one day they have to open this,
Yeah.
and IMPET is making all the efforts possible.
Yeah.
And I think the time they are taking, so much time they're taking, is because they want it to be perfect. They want a true master penman, a deserving master penman, to have that certificate, or the tag of
Exactly.
master penman.
Yeah. And there are very less master penmen currently as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are 12 master penmans in the whole world right now,
Yeah.
and the youngest of them is Jake Goodman.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe our age, around say 40, I guess, little less maybe.
But he was inducted when he was, I think, around 32 or something, right? If
Yes,
I'm
so
not
he's
mistaken. Yeah.
yeah, he's the youngest of the lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's
And
amazing.
yeah, I know his flourishes are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
and I believe that if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard is that in order to get the penmanship, the master penmanship, the one of the qualifier is that you have to create your own certificate, and then
Yeah,
yeah, that was one of the interesting
that
aspect. Yeah,
that's yeah, like you make your own certificate saying that you are a master penman.
yeah,
That's and I think the reason it is there is because a certificate, if you see,
yeah.
and if you have observed a certificate, it has quite a bit of different styles in that. you know
Mm, mm,
so it will have a gothic style or a foundational hand. It could have a Spencerian, it could have an Engrosser style.
yeah.
I think the purpose here is, or the purpose to write the certificate is, you need to maybe have proficiency in more than one styles.
Mm, yeah.
And that is what they test you on.
Mm,
So
mm,
eventually, uh, when you write these styles and make your own certificate, I think that is your test paper in a way, and that
mm,
is what they give you back as
yeah.
signed. When you become a master pen.
Exactly, exactly. And I think we'll soon have master penman from India as well, hopefully, when the slot open.
Yeah, it's a long journey, but yeah, definitely. I'm really focused and targeting that for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you've been doing workshops, online workshops, and then prior to the COVID, you've been traveling around, giving workshops as well. So let's talk about a little bit more about that. How does it goes now, and then uh, how was your experience teaching other people what you love to do?
Yeah. So just to start with how we started teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, I was, to be very frank, and you will be surprised to hear that I was in, uh, never wanted to get into teaching immediately. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, the main reason was uh, for the fear of whether I'll be passing on the right knowledge
Mm-hmm.
uh, to someone who's learning. See, because I felt teaching is more of a responsibility,
Yeah.
than just uh, a job,
Yeah.
or something you would be earning money from. So that was never the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to my partner Joy, because I think it was a very strange conversation we were having one day, and she was talking about the way, what do you call, the script is being put out from the teachers, and the question here was, if someone is passing on something to someone, are they passing on the right knowledge?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, as a teacher, you can trust me blindly. It's like you trust in your doctor. You never
Mm-hmm.
question your doctor when you go to him, right? You just
Yeah.
take the medication what he gives you. So it's the same as teacher, because teacher is next to, uh, in India at least, teacher is next to God, and you would blindly trust your teacher whatever he or she says it.
Yeah.
So when that conversation happened, we said, yeah, I think it's not right if something wrong is passing on as an
Mm-hmm.
information. And how do we correct that? We don't know how to correct that, because we can't just say, hey, what are you teaching? It's not good, you know. So we came. That is how we decided. In fact, Joy said that, why don't we start teaching? And we start teaching the right way.
Yeah.
I said, okay, that sounds like a plan, and that sounds fine. But then, what is the guarantee that what we teach will be right? So the question was on us of
Mm.
how to make sure that what we teach was right.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we started talking to people, and not just people, but calligraphers who are really, really well known in the industry. You know, like uh, like I am Pet. I had taken my work and
Mm.
I wanted to show it to the master penmans and take their opinion whether it is decent enough or good enough, where I could pass on the knowledge, and they agreed to that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they said that your work is nice. Um, so we used to actually uh, take feedback from the from people who are well-known calligraphers internationally, and ask
Mm.
them whether, what do you think about this. So I think eventually it was a little rough start, not rough in terms of course we knew where we want to go, but
Mm.
I would say that what we teach right now
Mm-hmm.
is much more refined than what I used to teach 2 years back. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so that is how we all started giving lessons in calligraphy, and then after that, everyone knows, and Richard, that of course it started all with India. Joy came to India first
Yeah.
in year 2018, and we did the first workshop in Delhi with Joy.
Mm-hmm.
After that, all around India, and then I went to USA for a workshop because I was called there.
Mm-hmm.
From USA, in July last year, 2019, we went to Sydney in November, October
Mm-hmm.
end. In Sydney, we had another workshop last year. Then again, we went to Denver for learning something, again, just gaining some knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then in February again, when we came back this year, Joy was here before the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Joy was in Delhi. We had a workshop in Delhi. We had a
Mm-hmm.
workshop in Pune, and then she wanted to attend the pen show in Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
and that is why actually the main reason for her to land was to have a pen show, to attend the pen show in India, you know. And
Yeah.
then she said like, "Hey Ash, if I'm coming, please let's do some workshops," Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and she has more fan following from India than uh, other parts of the country. She's like so famous here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like Ash, I'm already getting messages, when are you coming next, and my students want to see me, so you better arrange for something. So yeah, it's quite nice like that. So that is how we started the workshops.
Yeah, you bring up a very important, topic where you say that passing the right knowledge, especially in calligraphy, that is very important. And even though I teach people here and there, not I don't, like you said, I don't want to get into the teaching stuff because I'm very experimental in what I do. So
Yeah,
I always give them the basic understanding of, okay, what is calligraphy, what are the script available, how do you get started for each script. I just show them that that's all I can teach you. If you want more than that, you better go to someone else better than me. So I just do the fundamental, let them understand, okay, here are the different structure of calligraphy, and then how are they formed, what tool is right for which script, all of this stuff, the basic
right,
fundamental. No pinpointing here, but some people just get into the calligraphy, and then after 1 or 2 months they started saying, putting up their post, and then started saying that, okay, I can teach you this, I can teach you that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's too early to put out your works, or you should spontaneously put out and then see where you are, see what's wrong with your work? What are your thoughts on around that? Yeah.
see, I would really go to this old teaching,
Mm.
and especially which my teachers used to say, that the moment you stop learning,
Mm.
your growth stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens is, I think for all those uh, who really want to teach,
Mm.
I would in fact say yes, go ahead and teach, but then I think you need to be really, really tough on yourself. Okay, really tough on yourself, and ask yourself a question about, am I really good enough? Okay, or am I really uh, giving the right knowledge?
Hmm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
will the person who he or she is um, trusting me with all their whatever they have, will they gain from this?
Hmm.
You know, and see what happens is, Richard, I think it's a very very thin line, and why I would say thin line is because I have seen this personally, that a lot of calligraphers who think that they would teach, somehow they also have a kind of blockage in their head is, what if I give everything, he will be my next competitor,
Yeah.
you know, and
Hmm.
and that's actually it's not a good thing to have, because when you're a teacher, when you're sharing a knowledge,
Hmm.
you should in fact give it by both the hands and not just one hand, you know.
Yeah.
And that is how you as a human being, or you as a person will grow, you as a person would learn, you know, because
Yeah.
the more so the first aspect is, of course, whether you should teach or not, you know. And
Yeah.
if you think that you're good enough, and you should, and you know that you have built that credibility where your work stands out for you rather than what you are, you know, that
Yeah.
people look at you and say, hey, your work is good, I want to learn from you, you know, I want to write like you. So
Hmm.
that means it's not you who's saying that you're good, but people are talking about you, your fans
Yeah.
are talking about you, your followers are talking about you, you know.
Yeah.
So when that time comes, I think it is, and when you start teaching, uh, teaching is your learning. When you share something to someone, you actually learn twice, you
Yeah.
actually learn more, you know. And that is my personal experience, Richard. I won't I There is nothing to hide here, because
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I know that when the lockdown started, and as I told you, this year we had 5 countries planned
Hmm.
already. Two were in Singapore. It was already announced. In
Hmm.
fact, I had like we had a workshop. Me and Joy had a workshop in August, mid-August, for 3 days in Singapore, and
Hmm.
then again we had something in October end. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
so again we had 2 workshops in Singapore, and one was in California. We had a IMPETH conference already booked. I had paid the fees and everything in Atlanta this year.
Hmm.
We did the hotel bookings also, but we had to cancel it the last moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and then in December we had Dubai planned again, you know.
Hmm.
So everything was set, but then lockdown struck, and then what we decided is to start online. And I was not sure, to be very frank, Richard, because I never did an online workshop, and
Hmm.
being a very old school person, I didn't knew whether online would work, because
Hmm.
that touch, that personal thing of you sitting next to me, and and me giving a demonstration is not there.
Yeah.
the physical the physical aspect of the workshop was missing, and I was not sure. That's why it took a little more time to start, but I think when I started, it turned out to be quite nice. It turned out to be, oh my god, I can give more knowledge than in a workshop.
Hmm.
Because workshop, you're flying down, you're booking a venue, so you have time constraint, you know. But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it came to online, I'm not paying for anything in terms of venue.
Yeah.
I have all the time on the earth, you know, because I'm in
Hmm.
lockdown. I'm at the comfort of my home,
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
my desk, okay. And you, as a student, you are at your place, so we both are comfortable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it became such a nice a, a platform to share knowledge. And during this workshop, I think I learned so much myself. Thanks to my students, though. because if they wouldn't have installed that trust in me about, hey Ash, can you teach me?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have learned myself. And I think I learned a lot. You won't imagine. And the more I'm learning, I'm passing on that knowledge to the next student that I'm having,
Yeah, yeah,
because
exactly.
because because I'm validating that process of learning. I'm finding new ways of teaching. So by the way, I teach in Engrosser script mostly, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the name of my workshop for Engrosser script is Romancing Letter Forms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is how I branded my workshop. And I think it's quite an interesting name that we have for that workshop, because Engrosser script actually is all about letter forms.
Yeah,
And if you're not thorough, it's like foundation. It's like your bricks, your foundation. If you're not strong there, then your whole script will fall. You know.
yeah,
So but romancing but letter forms, uh, people think it's boring because they look boring in a way. For a layman, it's like, oh
mm-hmm.
my god, these are like just some small parts, bits and pieces which I have to learn. You know, but they don't know, if they join everything together like a Lego block,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
interesting that letter form or letter could be. You know, and
exactly.
that's the reason we came up with this name of romancing letter forms, because you actually romance them. If you fall in love with them, you actually treat them as your babies. And the moment you do that, you fall in love, you look at the end result, the script that comes out when you have a good letter form. It is unexplainable, it is out of this world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the
So
yeah, and the while you're saying romancing, the works that you did, and also with Engrosser script especially, the letter forms, how it all bring together, that's very important. The fundamental, the foundation structure are so important, because you can't just get it right. For example, if you're writing a simple e, small or lowercase e, if you're not strong in your foundation, the structure, the format, or the shape will never be correct. So yeah, I completely get your point on that. And it's so important, the right angle, the right spacing, the right amount of like Paul used to say, universal line of beauty.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's so important. Yeah. But what I see here in India often is that calligraphy and handwriting, cursive handwriting, has been, the line between that has been blurred so many times. Like, I often see an ad which says that we help learn calligraphy to improve your handwriting and all of this stuff. But I don't. To me personally, I don't think you can learn calligraphy to improve your handwriting. What's your thoughts on that?
I I think, Richard, that's a very very interesting question. In fact, and lot of my students
Mm.
ask me this question: if I can be a good calligrapher, and I would ask them, why you think you wouldn't be? And they say that, hey, my handwriting is not good. So
Yeah,
and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened exactly here? Because if I look at my handwriting now, still,
yeah. Mm.
it's not
Mm.
good.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know. So the one thing which I want to tell each and everyone, that don't compare or link your handwriting to calligraphy. It has nothing to do with it.
yeah,
Absolutely zero. Because calligraphy is actually a very very organized art.
mm.
It's like a formula, like once you
Yeah,
know the formula, you can crack the code, or you can crack whatever. It's like a recipe. You know the
yeah,
recipe, you can cook something. It's as simple as that. Of course it takes time, of course you need to go through rounds and rounds of alterations in your recipes, but eventually it is recipe.
yeah,
A right amount of ingredients, absolutely to perfection, if you put them every time, eventually after 10, 20 attempts, you are going to get the correct dish. It's not going to fail no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't. You don't have to be a cook. You don't have to be a born cook to do that thing. You just have to know the recipe.
Yeah.
So maybe this metaphor works, or maybe it's easier to understand. So similarly, calligraphy has nothing to do with handwriting. But if you learn calligraphy, you might have a chance of improving handwriting because you know the technique.
Yeah.
You know what is going to make your letters look nice, whether it is a slant angle, whether it is your consistency, whether it is your uh, whatever it is, flourishes, or so you know what is going to make it look good, so you can improvise on that and you can make your handwriting look good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And some people don't understand that, in calligraphy, the writing speed is, you don't write the way you write a normal handwriting. It doesn't, when you're taking a note, it doesn't work like that. You take time to write the letters.
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you're writing. Like
Yeah.
when you're writing business, you're doing business penmanship, which is more to do with which is actually cursive writing. Yeah,
Yeah.
without shades or anything,
Yeah.
and written in plain, say, pencil or fountain pen or ball pen, whatever you call it, or gel pen. Of course, you write it with your holder also, but that is very rapid. It's actually whole arm rapid movement. That is
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
do your business handwriting, and that is how you write also when you write normally.
Yeah.
But then when you're doing Engrosser script, you're actually slowing down, or you're writing 4 times slower or 5 times slower than you actually write. So it all depends on script to script. It all
Yeah.
depends on what script you're learning and writing, and I think your speed varies accordingly.
Yeah, and I think, as a calligrapher, you ended up, as you grow in your knowledge, I think you'll have to ended up, attempting all the kind of scripts that is available. I mean, not all, but most of the basic script.
So yeah. See, I think right now, currently, if you talk about both of us, like me and Joy, so I do Engrosser script, I do English roundhand, I do Uncial, I do Gothic, Fracture, I do Italics, and Spencerian here and there. I don't say I know Spencerian because I am not confident yet.
Yeah.
I'm still practicing, and I don't want to say something which I'm not fully confident about. So, but other script, yes, definitely, yes. Also, ruling pen is one of my, which is one script which I'm definitely learning for a longer time now, and I'm already preparing for a syllabus for that, for a workshop. So yeah, already I have like few hands in my kitty calligraphy
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the contrary, my partner Joy, she has the other side of the hand, like brush lettering. She's also good at flourishing and copperplate also. I mean, in Rosa script, she does
Yeah.
beautiful Spencerian work, and her brush lettering is out of this world. The
Yeah.
way she does her brush lettering is really good, really really good. In fact.
Yeah, and calligraphy is like very therapeutic as well, and for me, and it calms your brain to some extent because you focus so much on that particular thing that you're doing that it
Yeah.
just, the whole world stop for a while you're doing that. That's what I feel. I don't know about you. How do you feel when you write?
Oh,
But
I think Richard, you actually said that absolutely correct. And being from an advertising background, I know how this is so helpful because I remember late nights in office where you used to pitch for new businesses, and there is a presentation, and then you're stuck in office the whole night. You know what? I think midnight, 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning sometimes, I used to write for an hour instead of sleeping, because it used to calm you down. It used to feel so fresh. The reason now also I write in the night before I sleep is because it's like therapy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
actually calms you down, it slows you down, and I would say it prepares you for a good night's sleep.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what
You
the
know,
doctor are also suggesting, right? Before you sleep, put away all the screen, at least for an hour, let your brain prepare you for the sleep. So I think that's what the medication is for us.
I think before technology was invented, before the computers or laptops or iPads came in, I think that is what we used to do, right?
Yeah,
Like have family time, do some drawing, painting, whatever, sit outside, chat, and then go to sleep. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So I think we're just going back to basics here, nothing else, Richard.
Exactly. And talking about technology, how do you see the iPad Pro? What are your thoughts on that? How do you see it evolving?
See, I personally have not had any experience with that because I don't have an iPad. I had borrowed my partner's, so Joy's pad
Mm.
when she was, when we were together for workshop or I was in Hawaii, and I tried it. So, the first feel is when you are used to writing something on the paper, when
Yeah,
you're used to getting your hands dirty with
yeah.
ink and want to hear the scratch of the nib, on the paper. I think somehow I felt a little disconnected with that.
Mm.
In terms of, is it for me or do I like to do the old school way? You know,
Mm.
even though of course it can do amazing uh, work, and and we know because we both are, say, graphic designers or art directors, we would say,
Yeah.
so we know what it can do, what magic it can do. But somehow when it came to calligraphy, it still didn't like, I didn't associate with that too much. Somehow, I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that is left that we can do with our hands, even that if we want to take it to the digital level, that's up to us. But for me, I mean, it's nice to have, but I would not let go the physical aspect of it, or aspect of the writing piece. But maybe it fits a purpose for the other stuff. Like for example, if I'm doing a logo type or something like
Oh,
that,
yes.
I see the point of use in that. But if I'm talking about traditional calligraphy, I would not give up that, because the sheer joy of hearing the nib touching the paper, and then that bounce you get from the hand, that is something else.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that is amazing. You actually, yes. So of course, if you, I think the purpose of iPad or technology, I would say,
Mm.
is completely different,
Yeah.
uh, and I think uh, we should use that till the extent of where we could use it. Like as I said, logo designing, or if you want a quick
Mm.
scribble or a sketch to take out
Yeah.
your thoughts and do something which is commercial.
Yeah.
You're on the go and you want to do something where you can't actually say in a bus or a train or on a flight. Maybe you can't write with your hand, and then you have your iPad with you and a pencil, and then you sketch out what you have
Mm.
in your mind for the next handwritten thing. Of course, I'm saying it can be a good partner,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but not completely rely on technology like that, or give away the feeling of what you have or what you get when you write with your hand. Um,
Exactly.
I think I think it is, if you use it wisely and if you use it in a way that it could be a good partner, and help
Mm-hmm.
you with your ideas. I think that would be super awesome. I don't mind having one there, where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
fiddle with that, and I got a good sketch here, and let me do it with my hand now on paper. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, and since you've bring up your background a little bit on the advertising industry, so what are your thoughts on the current Indian design industry, or as a graphic designer or a creative director who has been in the industry for a long time now? What are your thoughts? And how did you see it evolve, and where are we heading?
Um, I think, Richard, unfortunately, I have not seen it evolve much.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, especially design, I would say, because
Mm.
so last week I was talking to a friend of mine, and he is into product design.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own agency, and I was talking to him. But the way things are appreciated in India is not as much as you should be appreciating design.
Mm.
Because it is like sometimes I think we are just stuck there, and we have not moved any beyond. Except I'm not saying, I'm not generalizing here
Mm.
in a way, but like there are few clients who definitely wants you to appreciate good work and everything,
Mm.
but majority of them they don't understand that the power of design, the power of color, the power of this thing. So I think the growth is quite slow. Of course, we do some amazing kick-ass work, and we win like global awards and everything, like Cannes or
Mm.
DNAD or whatever. But I
Mm.
think then what happens is, if you see the real work and if you see the award-winning work, there is a stark difference. The
Mm.
difference is like, like heaven and hell. That I would say,
Mm.
because because if you can produce such a good work for awards, then what happened to the real work that you get and do on your brief? Why is
Yeah.
it that not as award winning or beautiful as what you do? So
Mm.
definitely there is a gap. Definitely, there's something missing.
Mm. Mm.
And I think especially after lockdown, uh, where the clients doesn't want to spend, and people don't want to have anything right now because it's so unfortunate and unpredictable, you know.
Mm.
So so I don't know where it is going right now. It's kind of on a rough board right now, I would say,
Yeah.
especially advertising, but not the digital part of it. I think
Mm.
I think I think the digital side of business, they have done
Yeah.
tremendously well during this lockdown. Because
Mm.
because I know that the mainline budgets were taken as it is and shifted to digital, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if there is no newspaper, why am I doing a newspaper ad?
Yeah.
But I will be on Netflix, Prime, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere during the lockdown. I have my phone as my partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the entire budget was shifted, and I think the digital agencies or the digital side of the business did tremendously good. I think it was not a lockdown for them, even though
Mm-hmm.
they work from home, but they were really busy, really, really busy.
And being from a traditional design background, do you find it difficult to transition to the digital aspect of it? Was it any
Absolutely
challenge?
not. Absolutely not, Richard. Because I think that's also one uh, uh, misconception. You
Mm.
know, is that I think it's a basic language. I
Mm.
think digital is just a medium.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but what is required in digital medium is also an idea, right? If you don't
Yeah.
have an idea, it doesn't matter whether you do digital or mainline or a film or a brochure, or a logo. It's the idea that is very important. If you have an idea, you can create an amazing branding, logo, and a campaign,
Yeah.
and also pick that up and see how you can leverage that into digital media,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So digital, I think, is there's nothing to scare about because it's just few language codes that you need to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you understand how the medium works for you, it is going to be beneficial for you because you will know how better to use that idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like knowing a person's strength and weaknesses and then assigning him a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
As simple as that. You know that he is good in football, so better give him football, not give him a cricket bat.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
So that is how mediums work, and if you know that well, you will use them in the right way, and you will, do justice to that medium and that idea, in fact.
Yeah, and on top of that, I just wanted to ask you one more thing, that in today's world where social media is like the thing right now, but what happened is that the human connection is really missing sometime. How do we put together that human touch while doing the brand? I mean, doing our work as a advertiser.
I see. I think, Richard, what has happened is a pattern, if you see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the pattern here is, what is your time span,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or your concentration, or what your alertness, what you call as a human
Yeah.
being, when you start looking at something as a content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the general research and observation is that it is not more than 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can communicate whatever you have to communicate in 10 seconds or less, you're through. You will win that person's heart. You will make sure that he is your whatever potential customer, client, or your follower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means the chances of your content going viral or becoming hit are more in a short duration. So it doesn't matter, again, to answer your question, it doesn't matter whether you shot it professionally, or whether you just picked up your phone and did a shabby video. Like, why was TikTok so successful? The reason TikTok was successful because they were short 10 seconders snippets,
Yeah.
right? It was not long duration. It was short duration content, and very personal and very impromptu.
Yeah.
Even though you stage it, but it looked very impromptu. So I think that was the main reason, and that will be a game changer. That's actually a game changer, if you ask me, in digital media.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm saying, you look at Instagram or Facebook, how many time or how many seconds you spend on one post. It won't be more than 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 seconds is like, wow, you really gave me some importance there, but not more than 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Imagine you waiting and looking at a 10-second or 15-second video. Oh my God, you have already had the content to make someone stop. So that means you're already a winner.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, my content on the podcast is more than 1 hour long. All of them, most of them.
Uh, oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think we've
Yeah.
been doing it for 1 or 5 minutes now. Okay.
Yeah, but the podcast platform is a little bit. It works a little bit differently, so that's all right. We can cut
Oh
ourselves some
yeah,
slack. Yeah.
yeah. Of course. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's interesting how you put it forward, like the attention span, and do you think that the attention span will keep on decreasing, or it will change some way somehow?
See, I think people are getting less patient day by day.
Hmm.
The patience level are coming up. They want quick content, and they want quick.
Hmm.
So everything is. I'm saying, see, we have spoiled ourselves. This is our mistake.
Yeah,
We want everything instant. Everything,
exactly.
and that everything instant is. That is why we are looking at something which can give you that cake in a less time.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you ask me about movies, of course the movies are long duration, and it holds you back for sure,
Hmm. Yeah.
for its production quality, for the my favorite hero or actress or actor or actress or a director or whatever the storyline is.
Hmm.
But when it comes to commercial stuff, when it comes to selling, I really don't have time for that,
Hmm.
because my mind is preoccupied, pre-decided. Everything is pre-decided in my mind. How are you going to force yourself into my mind? You can't. It's highly impossible. And what is it? The way that you could do that? The way you could do that is not sounding like a commercial. That's the worst thing you could ever do. Because I don't want to see another commercial selling their products to me. Hey, thank you so much. Don't tell me what to buy. I know what to buy. Right?
Exactly, exactly.
That isn't that what the mindset is. So I think more than uh, how clever you are or how smart you can be, I think it needs to come down to how human you can be, how
Yeah.
you can touch me in maybe an indirect way, making a point to consider me, not buy me. If you say buy me, then I'm not going to buy. But if you
Hmm.
say, hey, can you consider me? Can you look at me? I said, okay, I don't mind looking at you,
Hmm.
but don't expect me to love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
See, yeah, that's obvious reaction. But I think that would, even if you make someone look at them, I think you have won the battle there. You have won
Hmm.
half the battle, right?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. And for content creator like you and I, it's sad to see that we live in the mercy of the social media algorithm. So, what can we say?
Let's
Yeah.
let's not get into that part at all, because it's a uh, wormhole, black hole, I would say. Uh,
Exactly.
just let's leave it there.
And Ashok, you recently make a big plunge in your career and you left the advertising industry to go full time with the calligraphy.
Yeah, so yes, I did that, and I think thanks to lockdown, I'm not kidding. Yeah, like I have seen so many. I am like most of them saying, "Oh my God, this lockdown has really done some really bad stuff to a lot of people." Of course, they have,
Hmm.
like, I know people have lost jobs, and
Hmm.
people have they're jobless. They have no source of income, and I really feel sad for all of them, in fact. And I hope
Hmm.
the situation gets better. But again, thanks to the lockdown, I actually got enough time to think about what I really want in my life.
Hmm. Hmm.
What started as a hobby is now my passion.
Hmm.
Okay, and not even me. Joy has the same passion as me. We both want to make it big in calligraphy, and share knowledge, and be somewhere uh, where where people know us, that hey, these are respectful calligraphers. You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so that's for sure. And yeah, I took that step, and I took that decision, and in fact I put in my papers in Jan, long before we even knew that we were going to get into a lockdown.
Hmm.
Uh, so so that happened, and first I was thinking whether I took the right decision or not, or whether I should go back into advertising or not, whether I should start looking for another job. The thoughts are there. As a person, you're always confused and not sure. But I think, again, thanks to COVID, it made me focus and decide that this is it. You need to be doing this. And what I started in April,
Hmm.
and till now it's been a fantastic journey. Fantastic. I couldn't be more happy than this.
What make you make you the decision to actually leave something that you have been doing for almost 20 years, 2 decades?
Um, I think it was stress.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was stress. It was more to do with freedom.
Okay.
Okay, I see. I think stress would be secondary, because you it's up to you how you manage stress. But I think
Yeah.
more than that, it was freedom.
Mm.
Freedom to do your own stuff. Uh, uh, I think in my 20 years, I only gave excuse about how I don't have time because of advertising, and I'm not able to do what I want to do. But uh, when would I get time if I kept on working for another 10 years? When I would be giving the same excuse year and year again, and eventually nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
So somewhere there needs to be a full stop. You need to say that, okay, let me stop here, or let me pause. Okay, I won't say I have left advertising at all, because what is advertising? I'm branding. I'm doing my own branding, Joy and Ash. Okay,
Yeah.
I am. Uh, I'm doing something in calligraphy and which has an idea.
Yeah.
So technically, I have not stopped advertising. It's not going to go out of my
Exactly.
blood, because it's there.
Exactly.
The only thing is that how I'm using it is different now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are using it for our own products. We are using it up for our own brand now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And actually, in fact, I'm also a kind of a consultant to a friend of mine who started their own firm. So I'm there as a consultant doing brand work, advertising, but at my own pace, where I'm my own boss there. So yeah, in a way, I want to be in touch with advertising too, because I don't want to lose focus on what's going on. And I'm doing it at my own pace, but that is again, of course, Joy and Ash is priority, and making out something there. Yes, of course, full time.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Let's explore a little bit more on the term freedom. How do you define
Sure.
freedom when in the context of work-life balance? How do you define freedom?
Uh, See, I think I would just go back a little bit before I come to this word freedom.
Mm.
Uh, I would go back to our upbringing, I would say, in general, as India. I think we, as a kid, were brought up in a very competitive environment.
Yeah.
If you see, like small instances, or I would say that, like, look at your neighbor. He or she have scored so much. Why? What happened to you?
Yeah.
It's
Comparison. Yeah.
a comparison that happens
Yeah.
in the society, in your own house. Like, look at the siblings.
Yeah.
Like, she got this much, why not you? Blah 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 blah. See, I think from the beginning we are tuned to behave in a certain way, and I think that is not there in the Western market.
Mm-hmm.
They are not worried about whether I'll get a job or not. They are worried about whether I'll live a life or not.
Mm.
They're worried about now. They were not worried about tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is good or bad. But what I'm saying is, definitely are we need to slow down a little bit. What's the hurry? And especially now, you see, during lockdown, no one is in a hurry. Everything is going smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you don't have to hurry for anything. You can, like I remember the client, when lockdown was not there. Client used to call us every alternate day. Hey, come, let's have a meeting. The same clients, even though we say now, can we come for a meeting? Say, no, 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 just do it on a Zoom call. You don't have to come all the way. No, not required. But then, what happened that time? That time we had huge screens and huge monitors where we could do a conference call, and we could have done that instead of traveling all the way to the client office for 1 hour and taking a meeting and coming back.
Yeah.
So why didn't we use technology then? Why you have to have the COVID reason for that, right? So I think eventually what happened is, now people have realized that even though you're in a lockdown, you are more free.
Mm-hmm.
You it's kind of an eye opener where you realize that, hey, this is freedom. I need that. Even though I'm working, but there is no one sitting on my head. There is no one looking over my back. I am getting my space. I'm delivering. I'm giving my time to the family. I'm giving my time to my hobbies, and I'm doing my due diligence when it comes to work,
Yeah.
right? I think that freedom of deciding when to do what, and of course, you're not a kid, you're a responsible adult, you're
Mm.
mature enough to understand your responsibilities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to miss a deadline when you know that there's a deadline.
Yeah.
So, what you're going to do is you're going to plan for it, right?
Yeah.
So, even though you're working, you still got your freedom. And I think that is what we should have got this a little before,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Of knowing a work-life balance, of knowing, hey, this is family time, this is office time. And I think the people who are paying us also should understand that we are paying for the service or the talent that the guy has and not bought him up. So,
Yeah.
or doesn't owe him to make him sit in the office for 2 days and not doing, like not let him go home. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. You brought up a very interesting word. Like the employer bought him up. So I think that's the mentality of a normal industry standard. I would say in India that when you sign up for a job, it's like you've been swollen by the organization, and then they can call you up anytime, ask you for anything you want, and then if you're not if you're not doing that, it reflects on your appraisal performance.
Oh yes, there's this constant dangling sword on your neck,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, and you don't know what is going to hit you, what topic is going to hit you. So I think it's a vicious circle, I would say,
yeah.
and just keep falling into that trap over and over again. I wouldn't say everyone is like that. No, it's not.
Mm. Yeah.
There are a lot of organizations who have a good work-life balance, who care for
Mm.
their employees and their personal life, and space and
Yeah.
everything. So of course, there is a lot of uh, what would you say, positive, brighter side to the industry for sure. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, but yeah, there is also this aspect which you can't ignore, and
Yeah.
that's true. That you can't avoid this. You
Yeah.
can't avoid this, and why not do it for yourself then?